which is pretty ridiculous. But before I go on, I just wanted to see if anyone has questions or thoughts in the audience. No, nobody? Yeah, a lot of the other, some of the other things I was gonna go over are the provider fee and some of the changes to the background checks, but I think Karen covered that pretty well. I don't know if there's anything else you want me to cover today.
No, that was great. My kind of question is, with the 3.6% cut across the board, how is that going to affect your hours that you use for IHSS to work?
And when I did the math on it, I'm going to lose about 7.5 hours per month, which isn't huge, but if you remember back to what Karen was talking about, the unmet need, when you add that, so the unmet needs of things that IHSS doesn't cover does add up to a significant amount. I think the bigger issue I'm seeing, or probably will be seeing, however, is with consumers that receive a relatively low number of hours, maybe just barely enough to employ one assistant adequately, and a 3.6% cut could for them mean the difference between, you know, having their needs met, having an assistant come regularly, and maybe having that person work for them, say, hey, you know what, this isn't worth it anymore. I'm not getting, you know, when I calculate gas money, travel time, just not worth it to keep working with you. So that's an issue that I anticipate seeing more in the future.
Thank you, Cindy. My name is Chris Otero. I chair the Los Angeles Governing Board for the Public Authority. We're very interested in what you were talking about the delay in providers from the time that they go through the background check and then to the point that they get their final payment. And it's very difficult. First of all, we don't know exactly how much of that delay is from the background check, and then how much of that delay is then from the county getting people into the system. So what we need are statistics, and I'm wondering, are you gathering statistics, or do you know of any statewide statistics that we can start using to solve this problem?
You know, I don't know of any statistics off the top of my head, but what I've seen just observationally is that it's probably more the side of getting people in the system that's what's creating the backlog. I'm seeing that the background checks go through pretty consistently within about a month, maybe 6 weeks. But what takes a really long time is getting people to receive their first timesheet, getting that timesheet processed, and then getting the check. That I see that take up to several months. But I can look into it and, you know, get back to you.
Yes. My name's Bonnie Newman, Calaveras Home Care. My question is about the 3.6% cut. Is that going to be on each task, or is there going to be one task that they're hitting on?
From my understanding, it's just going to be across the board. They're just going to take 3.6% of your hours for the monthly allotment. But because it is up to each consumer how they distribute that time in the end, it would probably result in more or less, you know, cutting from each task individually. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Andy Russoff. I'm on the Mendocino Advisory Board. I also work as a legal aid attorney in Lake and Mendocino. I've got a situation involving a client, actually the provider for a client. A son was taking care of his mother, and I think he was doing that since he was a teenager. He was charged for child abuse. The crime was providing alcohol to a minor. And we've tried to help him start the expungement process, because under the old rules it sounded like he could get that crime discharged. And it sounds like the new rules are going to bar him for 10 years from taking care of his mother. I think he's now 23. This occurred when he was 21. So that may be one of the pieces we want to continue to work on the legislature for. Expungement means you've gone through your probation, you've paid your price back, and a court has seen fit to remove that crime from your record. And you know, I was surprised to hear that that kind of crime could be charged as felony child abuse. You read the child abuse statute, and it sounds like it's it's designed for people who are intentionally injuring a child, battery or some sort of torture situation. But that was, you know, nobody was seriously harmed by that crime, but it's still a disqualifier for 10 years for that person.
Karen, are you?
I'm on the line and I heard the question, and there's a specific penal code that is applied to the no expungements, and so for child abuse it's the 273A sub A, and if you probably know there's other penal code sections that are felony child abuse, but the only one that's disqualifying that does not allow this expungements is the 273A sub A. And if you want to call me after line, you know, after the call, or email me, I'm sure there's people there that can give you the phone number. But we worked very closely with the ACLU and the East Bay Law Project, and it's very clear that the federal law did not allow expungements for the 3 felony crimes of elder abuse, child abuse, and fraud against government-funded program. But for child abuse, like I said, it's just that one penal code section. There are others that may apply to your client that might not be that one that doesn't allow that expungement.
Thank you.
But
Go ahead, I'm sorry, Karen.
I was going to say, somebody who has my phone number, if they give it to him, I'm happy to help him offline and link him to the attorneys that we've been working very closely with.
I will do that. This is Cindy, and we only have time for one more question, and we really don't even have time for that, but if I don't get a chance, thank you so much, Karen and Lauren. Here's a last question.
Thank you. Hi, Alex Ivanovsky, Advisory Committee Chair from El Dorado County. My question is, I haven't heard anybody talk about the cost, and since the governor is so anxious to save money, do we know what the cost of the fingerprinting, implementing new provider enrollments, and all the fraud protection is costing? Because that seems to me to be a pretty big bargaining chip that we're not looking at. Karen, do you have any figures? Is anyone working on that?
I do have figures. I'm not sure that I have them right here at my fingertips, but the projected savings far outweigh what is being spent. And, you know, I think it's really crummy, but the providers paying for their own criminal background checks generated about $12 million to the state a year. Isn't that terrible? And I can break out, but I just don't have the figures right in front of me of all of the different pots of money that were appropriated for local government or for state officials to implement the anti-fraud crap.
Thank you very much. I hate to cut everybody off. I know we could all sit here all day and ask Karen and Lauren questions, but I would be in serious trouble. Amy's already appeared in the doorway 3 times. So can we thank Karen and Lauren? And unfortunately, we have to clear the room again because we need to set up for lunch. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy.